Hi, I'm back. I'm still continuing work talking about mental disorders. There's some other ones regarding mood disorders. Like, I mean, you could be moody, you could be emotional, you can have some things going on, but you have some mood disorders that are going to be up and down drastically. Perhaps you don't know why you're having a swing of being high in the sense of really happy, then coming down, crashing. Some people may call that like bipolar disorder. You have depression, you can have schizophrenia. So depression, is sadness, of course. And again, your emotions are valid. But when you are depressed and you can't get out of that feeling, like you feel like you're drowning, like, oh my gosh, I'm sad all the time. And it's just, everything's heavy on me. And you just cannot get out of that sorrowfulness, right? You may be clinically depressed. Of course, a therapist needs to recognize that. And if you are clinically depressed, again, nothing's wrong with that. People, some personal people that I know in my group of family members are depressed, and they're on some certain kind of meds that will help them function, and the chemical imbalance helps them. The medicine helps the family member with the chemical imbalance, and that individual in my family and my extended family is feeling much better, of course, with the medicine and exercising, eating right, and seeing a therapist. But also I gave you some notes regarding signs of clinical depression. Now, again, if you're sad and depressed because maybe unfortunately a family member passed away, or you're depressed because maybe you broke up with your boyfriend or girlfriend, or God forbid your animal passes away, that depression's normal, and how everyone deals with grief. There's stages of grief. That's that's not the word normal, but understandable why you're sad or depressed. So like my mom passed away, gosh, going on 15 years now from cancer. And yeah, I had depression. I was sad that my mom died. I was grieving through her loss, but life does move on. So, yes, I miss her every day. My life would be totally different if she was here, for sure. But for me to function in life, to be a good mom, a good wife, a good teacher, a good coach, a good person in general, I would have to accept the loss of my mom and move on and live forward. That doesn't mean I miss her any less, okay? But people who are clinically depressed cannot get out of that feeling. They're feeling like there's just another, it's hard to breathe. It's hard to get out of their room. That it's just, everything is just so sad. So some signs for clinical depression would be change of sleep patterns, activity slows down, you feel numb, difficulty thinking and concentrating. But be in mind, a lot of these signs could be other issues, like maybe you have a hard time concentrating because you just have a hard time focusing. You have some, I think here, weight loss or gain weight a big time. A lot of times people use food as a way to deal with their depression, or not eat at all to deal with their depression, or people will go towards drugs and alcohol to mask their feelings because they don't want to deal with the pain of how they're feeling. They don't want to accept that there might be some issues. Some people don't want to acknowledge that they may have to talk to someone like a therapist regarding how they're feeling and how to cope with whatever their situation is in their life. Another one would be the feeling of worthlessness, the feeling that, you feel guilty for all these reasons and you're not worth it, you're not good enough. And again, that rolls into self-esteem. Remember back when we talked about self-esteem. So if you're constantly feeling that you are not worth anything, you got to start loving yourself, at least just one thing a day, like I talked about in self-esteem. And of course, reoccurring thoughts of death and suicide. That is huge. If you are thinking of death and suicidal thoughts, you need to let someone know ASAP. Myself, a school counselor, hotline, your parents, guardians, you need to, because you are worthy. You are all worthy. You are all important people. Even though you're learning virtually, or you're at school and it's, mask time and all this stuff, you guys still are important. You're my students. I may not know everything about you, but definitely would care if something happened to you. All right, I definitely would care. So there's some other impulsive control behaviors. Maybe, again, like, you have to shut the door 15 times or washing your hands multiple times. You can be easily consumed by video games and like addictive behavior, like, oh, I got to get in my games, or I got to check my tweets and all that. That can lead to other things. So once you have gone through the mental disorders and the notes, we're going to be talking about suicide and suicide preventions, the do's and don'ts. All right, I'll talk to you soon.